Peace family, peace family. Chef Joseph the Entrepreneur back at you again with another video. Chef Joseph the Entrepreneur back at you again with another video. Today is it's June 2nd. Wow, time is moving. June 2nd today. And just want to talk to y'all, I hadn't put up a video in a while. Actually, I've been recalibrating and recentering myself and just reconfiguring, just a lot of things I've been doing in my life that basically that was much needed. Taking a break from a major business that, in my opinion, it threatened my creativity. When you are like designed to do some things in your life, whether especially doing art or just whatever you're doing, it's very important to make sure that you're in the right environments. And I realized what I was into, which is a good business actually, did very well, still does very well, but at the end of the day, I was putting myself last. And so for 3 years plus, I put a lot of people in front of me. I had to miss appointments, miss certain things because people just weren't true to their word. And those of you who know, So it wasn't anything negative on my side. It's just that being a man of my word and running business and being a black or a melanated or aboriginal, however word you want to use on that, entrepreneur, definitely comes with a threat. And you're not leave that stuff alone. So yeah. So when you go through that, especially with your own people and you're leading and trying to lead by example, unfortunately you have your own kind that just want to kind of undermine you, challenge you, not outright, but subtly, calling in all this kind of stuff. So, but just know I'm in a hell of a lot better place. Just know that. So, yeah, really, and still moving and making tracks. So, wanted to talk to y'all this morning. I had woke up probably about 2 o'clock this morning, and I don't know where this came from, but Maya Angelou just dropped in my spirit, and something was like, why don't you just take a look at her life? Just look at her documentary. Which I definitely would say to a lot of you, including myself, we've had great people that have walked this earth, prior to us being here, that have left a legacy for us to follow. And which brings that to the topic of today's subject. What is your legacy? What legacy are you leaving? I was in that conversation the other day about the legacy. Some of you will leave a legacy of praising the Lord. Some of you will leave a legacy jumping for Jesus. Some of you will leave a legacy of leaving a house, leaving a car, leaving a dog, leaving a cat, and that's your legacy. But when I looked at Maya Angelou's story and look at the things that she went through, that's what you call leaving a legacy. Check it out. Maya Angelou, I forgot the title of it, but you can YouTube it. But anyway, that's what you call leaving a legacy, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with jumping for the Lord, but just know he gave you something to do. You must know that. Either get busy living or get busy going the other direction, But that's kind of the subject for today, is just what legacy are you leaving? Some of you have talents, you have gifts, you have a lot of things that you can do, but are you capitalizing on these things? Are you making these things happen for yourself? I know that a lot of you may not be on that right path of whatever you feel like it is that you need to be doing, but at the same time, it's never too late. You're never too old. You're never too young to make an impact. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell a lot of you, look at your life and ask yourself, what legacy are you leaving behind for others to see? I can honestly tell you that's what I'm actually doing. I never thought it would happen that way, but it is definitely pretty interesting. I'm very proud of myself. I never really said that a lot because I've given myself to a lot of situations, business speaking. And when I looked up, I was putting myself last, and health, everything. You know what I'm saying? And it came literally from just helping other people. But when I stopped and looked at that, life is short, or life is what we make it, and life is not meant to be working 7 days a week. For some, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with 7 days. If you building something, yes. I've been to the top of that mountain and wrote a book about it. Yep, seriously. But it came a time that I had to look at that mountain, look when I got to that top of that mountain, and I looked around and I looked down into the valley. Matter of fact, I have a chapter in my book about that. Is when I looked down when I climbed the mountain, I basically made it to the top, and I looked down into the valley and seen how far I had climbed. When I had seen that, I was like, wow, I literally started at, from this level down in the valley, and now I'm up in the clouds, like looking around with a bird's eye view. I'm up there with the eagles in the clouds, you know what I'm saying? And it's a phenomenal story. And phenomenal story. It's called The Chef Josephs. He came during the Civil War. And had some few issues with the editors and stuff like that. Because the book is pretty intense. It's my whole autobiography. I talk about a lot of things, and we will be talking about the chapter readings and everything as well. But besides me, let's talk about you, and let's talk about this legacy thing. And I definitely want to encourage you all to look at your life today and look at where you're going. Look at what you're leaving behind. Some people go through life, like your family and everything, and they don't leave any type of legacy whatsoever. They don't leave anything behind. And I personally feel that, what is life if you don't set up for the next generation? You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have children, some say, well, I don't have no children, whatever. I talk about my daughter, actually, of how I was done as a father, for real. And it's written. Believe me, it's tight. And when it drops, I will read and do chapter readings and things like that. But even then, even though that situation is the way it is now, not because of me, but because of the mother, vindictive and just a lot of those things. And I talk about all that, from my point of view, from a father's point of view. But I still am on track to leave a legacy. So that's something that I think that you should look at. But back to this Maya Angelou story. So yeah, she came through a lot of she had been raped. Can't say anything anymore, God knows. Raped with, and changed the G to the R, you know what I'm saying? And then, but when you look at her trials and things that she had went through, she turned it all into success. And I'm sure she had hard times and everything back in the 50s trying to find work. We in 2026, and some of y'all don't even want to look for work. You know what I'm saying? Where do we lose our power? Where do we lose our steam? So yeah, it's about legacy, and I know that's a word that a lot of people don't talk about anymore, but that's very, very important for us to leave a legacy. So I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to shoot this video and just kind of let you know, kind of some of my thoughts for the day. But check out that Maya Angelou. Look at her life story, and hopefully you can be inspired by it. But yes, Chef Joseph, the entrepreneur, he came during the Civil War. That's the title of my book, my autobiography. Check out the website. I actually have a lot going on with that, rebuilding everything as well with that. So some great things are happening. My story is about to be told. And part is already out there a lot. But if you go to hecameduringthecivil.com, you'll see that's the first website. But I have a whole new modified one now that'll be releasing pretty soon. So like and subscribe to the channel. This is just a quick video before I get back on track. But the reason I hadn't been putting videos out is, like I said, I've been recentering and recalibrating myself. because I had been through a lot in the restaurant business and stuff like that. So, but nevertheless, I am still here. So, and I'm still with you, and to drop this knowledge. So, anyway, thank y'all for your time. I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day.